Welcome back to Sportsline. We're talking with Matt Harris of IdahoSports.com about what we can expect down the stretch. And Matt, the 5A classification, going to be fun to watch this year. Do you think there's an outright favorite of all those teams?
If there's 4 or 5 teams possible to have as favorites, then yeah, if that's allowed. Highland, they've been really talked about this year. Skyline is undefeated. They're playing well. Hillcrest is undefeated, and they may be the most balanced team out there. Bonneville was certainly boosted by Keegan Hansen's return, and of course you can never count out Bill Hawkins and the Madison Bobcats. Idaho Falls is improving. They're not quite at the level where they can compete for state quite yet this year.
Now, if you had to pick one player at the 5A level, and I'm going to put you on the spot, one player at the 5A classification in districts 5 or 6, who's it going to be?
I've been really impressed by Telly Davenport so far. He's done a great job. He's not afraid to go down low. He plays more as a guard. He's a 6'4" guard, but he'll get it done on defense, get it done on offense as well. You got to give it up to Stefan Gonzalez and Connor Harding of Highland as well. It's like 1A in that regard. I mean, there's so many good players out there.
Yeah, and a couple of kids on Skyline who can really slash and shoot the ball as well, right?
Yeah, you got Mighty Mouse, Mason Baker for Skyline, excuse me. You got J.J. Eli in there as well. Tyson Baker can light it up on any night as well. There's lots of good players in District 5-6 this year.
And one of the things I always say is that Skyline always plays bigger because they are so small. They don't like to play, or they are not afraid of contact, and they will go to the hoop.
Yeah, that's one of the things for Skyline, that they do have those smaller players. They have to make up for it in effort, or else they'll get beat down in every game.
The 3A teams in Eastern Idaho appear to be down this year. That's going to open the door for really anybody. Do you think which team has the best chance at 3A?
I'm going to give it to Shelley. They returned quite a bit of their team last year. They've challenged themselves in their non-conference schedule, which is something that the other 3A teams have not done. They've played several 4A and 5A teams. South Fremont and Sugar Salem, they have great personnel. They just need to put it together on the floor in terms of cohesion and chemistry. In 3A District 5, it's kind of a toss-up. Marsh Valley is the current front-runner. I would expect Snake River to start being a little bit more competitive. They started very slowly. Once it gets to district tournament time, though, really anything is up for grabs in 3A District 5.
Now, how does Sugar Salem answer the loss of Tim Fuller, 6'8" forwards family, moved to Arizona before the school year? Something us football nerds, we were so concentrated on football, didn't even see. So how do they overcome that?
You can't really replace a Tim Fuller. You can't replace a 6'8" player, but you can adjust. Their bigger guards are going to have to utilize their height advantages down low and go against their defenders and be active in crashing the boards. It's going to be a big key for them, using their height in ways against their defense that they haven't been able to do thus far.
Yeah, but you can't teach height.
No, you can't
replace it.
You can't, and from what I understand, Tim Fuller greatly improved over the summer, got a lot more upper body strength, and he was going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Now to the bigger picture, something we always like to talk about. State classification numbers have come out in the first count. What's the biggest thing you notice about that first count and schools jumping around?
IF and Skyline have 4A numbers right now. Rigby would move up to 5A if the numbers were to hold. Shelley is on the cusp of moving to 4A. They're currently under the 4A level. North Fremont has 1A Division I numbers. Butte County is 1 student above 1A Division II numbers, and Marsh Valley could drop to 2A. They're about 4 students above 2A numbers right now. But the biggest key to remember here, Jeff, is that schools can petition up and not down, and the second enrollment count that comes out in March is typically lower than the first count overall.
So it seems like District 91 teams could be going down. Skyline and Idaho Falls.
It could be. It all depends on if they decide to petition back up. It decides if the state. It depends if the state decides to change that so that they adjust the classification numbers. You just never know.
Now to one of my favorite topics, the shot clock. I'm all in for a shot clock in high school basketball. I played in New York State. We used it in New York State. We played with one. What are you hearing from people around the state, maybe coaches and administrators, about the shot clock?
Well, first off, the answer is a flat no. There's certain schools and teams around the state that would love to have a shot clock, but the IHSA will not adopt it because that goes against current NFHS basketball rules and regulations, which would result in the IHSA losing their vote in the NFHS basketball rules meetings. Now, other states, like you mentioned, Jeff, like New York, have adopted it. And in fact, there's a tournament going on in Boise right now where they wanted to use the shot clock, and that was denied because, again, Idaho did not want to take a chance at losing their ability to vote in rules issues.
I'd still love to see it. I really would. And I definitely went with a little bit of Madison video on that topic with a shot clock, because we all know Billy Hawkins can stretch the clock with the best of them when he needs to. And he can push when he wants to, but he knows how to, hey, look, there you are.
Oh, look at that.
I put that in there for a reason as well. So, Matt, thank you very much for joining us here on Sportsline. We got to move on now. We're a bit out of time, but coming up here on the show, Sportsline, we're going to meet a professional